Hi everyone, welcome to the YouTube channel of BeingACCA. This is Tushita Gupta, ACCA affiliate. Please give me a quick confirmation if you're all able to hear me properly, if I'm audible and visible, as well as the screen is all clear to you. Please give me a quick confirmation so that we can get started. I will also keep seeing the live chat. Whatever you guys keep asking me, I'm going to answer simultaneously as we solve this question. Perfect. One student is telling me that all seems to be working fine. So let us get started now. This is the GSC Global Scan Company from your most recent past paper, which is September-December 24. So last attempt immediately preceding to your March, if you're appearing in the March 25 attempt, the last attempt was the December 24 attempt, right? So you're practicing the most recent past paper that is available to you. So you will get to know what kind of questions are being tested in the recent attempts, right? So that is why this past paper becomes super important. If you're also attempting FM, or if some of your friends are attempting FM or AA, we also had live sessions for this, and the recordings of the same are now available on our YouTube channel also. So you can refer that, or if your friends are watching, then they can refer to that. So let us get started with this question without any further ado. As you can see, this is a 20 marker question. So the first thing that I'm going to do is read the requirement. This is, I can see, a 14 marker requirement which wants me to complete the statement provided for GSC for the year ending 31st December 20x2, showing the revenue and costs for each clinic in as much detail as possible. And I also have to recommend which clinic, if any, should be shut down at the end of 20x2. So you know, here you're talking about shutdown decisions. So you will have to use the concepts that you have learnt over there in shutdown decisions. So let's read the scenario quickly. Global Scan Company GSC is a company providing a wide range of private ultrasound scans for pregnancy, men's health and women's health across D-land. So D-land is a country where they are providing these ultrasound scans. Each scan is carried out by someone called a sonographer who is specially trained to carry out the scan and interpret the results. GSC has 20 clinics in total, 3 of which Derby, Leek and Knott. So these are the 3 clinics for which we have to find out these numbers. Are based in the central region of D-land within a 30-mile radius of each other. Recently, a new Chief Executive Officer (CEO) has been appointed at GSC, and he has asked for a review of the 3 clinics. He believes that it is unnecessary to have 3 clinics so close together, and that at least one of them should be shut down at the end of the current financial year, which is 20x2. This is the earliest date that any of them could close due to the clinic's existing contractual obligations. Following information has just been prepared for the financial year ended 20x1, which has been provided for the 3 clinics which are concerned to us at this very moment. Now here is the note number 1. These are the 3 clinics which we have to do the evaluation about. Here you can see that number of scans each year are given. This is accompanied with note 1, and here are the numbers. So these are the pregnancy scans, these are the men's health scans, and these are the women's health scans. Now the number of staff, you have the information, number of ultrasound machines, as well as other costs per month. So again, we remember that the requirement wants us to complete the statement. What does this statement entail? We have to calculate the sales revenue, we have to show the expenses, we have to find out the contribution, then we have to subtract the other expenses, and then ultimately it will lead us to the profit or loss. So this is the entire pro forma which we are supposed to be filling. So now we will start off with reading the notes. Somebody has commented that they are not able to understand anything. I have not really started explaining. I am just reading the question at the moment. Okay. So Darby and Leak clinics charge the same price per scan, $160 for a pregnancy scan and $200 for a men's health scan, $280 for a women's health scan. Not clinic charges 10% more. The number of scans performed is expected to fall by 20% in Darby and Leak in 20x2, but increase by 30%, which has more advanced scanning equipment. So here this number is going to be useful when we calculate the sales revenue. Let's read about the sonographers. At the end of 20x1, junior sonographers earned a salary of $32,000 per annum each, and senior, you have the salary given for that. Average salary of other staff was $18,000 per annum each. In addition to the salary cost, they are supposed to pay a further amount of 13% of each employee's salary to the government as a contribution to the D-Land welfare system. All employees in D-Land are taxed at a flat rate of 30% on their salary before receiving it. The number of staff employed will remain the same in the next year. So because we have to prepare the numbers for the next year, that's why they are giving us the information which pertains to the next year. All employees at GSC, so Ashish is asking, is this the real past paper? Absolutely yes, Ashish. This is published by ACCA on the ACCA practice platform. So this is one of the questions that somebody might have actually faced in their real exam in September 24 or December 24 in one of the sets of paper that gets asked. Okay, so all of the employees at GSC receive a 5% pay rise at the beginning of the new financial year. All ultrasound machines used to perform the scans are hired out on a 5-year lease from supplier. Lease payments from Darby and Leak machines are $1,000 per month. So you have the machine leasing costs given to you. If they want, they can exit a lease agreement before the end of its term. It has to pay a substantial penalty. So if we end the lease term before what we had agreed to, we will have to pay a heavy penalty. Then these costs include clinic specifically attributable overhead costs and a reapportionment of central head office costs for the support services it provides. The HO costs are reapportioned to each clinic on the basis of the total number of employees at the clinics. GSC as a whole has 150 employees. Total HO costs were $3 million in 20x1, and it is expected to remain unchanged in the next few years, even if one of the clinics is shut down. So this is irrespective of whether we shut down the clinic or not. The clinic specific overheads are also expected to remain the same in the next year. So now we have read all of the information. Now we will move towards solving the requirement which wants us to calculate the to fill in this statement. So we will first create a working note wherein we can put in the number of scans, because that is something which is going to change. We'll have to calculate it for this year. So right beneath P&L, leaving a few rows, I'm going to start a working note. So I'll tell the examiner that this is my working note, and here I am first talking about the number of scans. So I will label with respect to the names of all of the 3 clinics: Darby, Leak and Not. So here I have quoted whatever is given to me in the information. Now let's read note number 1 to talk about the number of scans. So as of now, for Darby, the number of scans specifically for pregnancy scans are given to us as 2200. Now let's see how this figure is going to change. So the number of scans performed is expected to fall by 20% in Darby and Leak. That means whatever number we are having as of now in this year, 2200, this is going to fall by 20%. So there are 2 ways. Either I can simply multiply this by 80% or take 1 minus 20% because there is a fall. So here you will end up getting the same answer irrespective of whatever way you use. Similar is going to happen in Leak. Let's have a number for Leak. Leak is 2650. Again, this can be multiplied with 80% or 1 minus 20%. So this gives you 2120. Now talking about Not, the number that is given to us is 3820. Let's see what is written in the notes. It's going to increase by 30% in Not, which has a more advanced scanning equipment. So you can say 1 plus 30% is what the number is going to look like for not clinic. Now let's talk about the other scans also. The others are also going to remain the same. Men's health, again 20% fall in these, so 640 into 80%. Then you are going to take 865 into 80%, and then there was an increment of 30% here, so 980 into 1.3 also is another way to reach at the same place. So here you are having the numbers. Then let's talk about the women's health. Similar is going to be repeated over here. You can also keep practicing the questions simultaneously. You might be able to understand it better if you do it simultaneously with me. 1130 into again 0.8 because 20% reduction, and here 1990 is going to have a 30% increase, so 1.3. So these are the number of scans that are going to be there when it comes to all three of the clinics which are given to us. Now we can simply calculate the price per scan and we can multiply to find out the revenue. So let us now note down the prices of the scan. So for prices, again you can copy paste. So these are the different services and these are the different clinics. So this is how you can also save time in your exam. So for pregnancy, the prices are given to us. They charge 160 and Derby and Leak both are charging 160, 200 and 280. Not is simply going to take 10% more than all of these numbers. So for pregnancy, that means Derby is charging 160. 160 is what you will take as it is. Leak is also similar. But when it comes to Not is doing what? They are charging 10% more. So whatever Leak is charging into 1.1, that gives you 10% more of an amount. Now let's talk about the men's health. So for the men's health, we can clearly see it's a $200 of charge that they have to pay. So 200, this remains the same for Leak. And here you have a little bit extra for the sophisticated equipment that you have, so into 1.1. So this gives you the men's health complete data. Now talking about the women's health, again we see it's a 280 in the question, so 280 remains same. And then for the next one, it's going to be a 10% higher than 280, so 280 into 1.1. So this is how we have worked out the prices also. Now if you know one scan costs you this much and you've done these many scans, it's very simple to find out the total sales revenue. It's going to be the product of the price per unit versus how much you have sold. So here we are going to find out the sales revenue. First we will show for the pregnancy scans. So pregnancy scans, we will link our workings with whatever we have calculated. So we have our workings right beneath. We are going to use these cells so that the examiner knows where we are bringing the numbers from, and then we are going to select the cell wherein we have the revenue of one pregnancy scan. So this is what we show over here. This is the revenue that Derby will generate from the sales revenue of pregnancy. Now talking about Leak, Leak is charging this much, and then this is the number, this is the price. Similarly, you will do it for Not. 4966 is the number of pregnancy scans, and this is how much they charge. Similarly, now you can note it down for the men's health. So for men's health, you have again this is the number of scans, and this will be multiplied with the price per scan. So this we have worked out as 200. Let's check if we copy paste, will it allow us to save some time. Let's check if it is picking up the right numbers by default. Yes, it is. Perfect. So we will again do it for women's health, and then we will just type in for the first one, and the next one will be done automatically by copy paste. So this is women's health, and this gets multiplied with the price per scan. So here we can copy paste and we will have the revenues all worked out. So here we can show that the total of revenues is going to look something like this. Total revenue is going to be this plus this plus this. So this is the total revenue that you're going to generate. Now we will come towards expenses. So for the very first expense, we can clearly see that we are having a few sonographers who actually carry out these scans. So here is the information given with respect to them. So again, we will go to our working note where we will label that this is the second working note where we are going to be talking about the expenses. So for the expenses, let's have a look. Let's first do it for the junior sonographers. So for the junior sonographers, again we have the 3 clinic names. So these are the 3 clinic names, and then we will say how many are they, how many are the number of employees, number of junior sonographers. So let's take that from the question. You have 2, 1 and 2. So this is the number of people that you have, and they are earning a salary of 32,000 per annum, and we were told that 13% is what we contribute for their welfare to the government, and then you're also giving them a 5% pay rise. So let's talk about the salary. So the salary, let's put in these numbers as it is right now. It's 32,000 for each of them. So 32,000 is their salary. Now how much total do you end up paying? If you have 2 employees, you will pay the salary twice. So this is the amount that you are going to have to pay. But again, as we were talking about this, that you have to put for increment as well as contribution. So the total amount is going to be this multiplied by how much are you contributing? 13%. So 1 plus 13%, and then you're also giving them a rise. So this will further be multiplied by 1 plus 5% pay rise that you are giving to them. So this is what you exactly end up paying to the junior sonographers. Now we will talk about the next category of employees, which is senior sonographers. So senior sonographers, you will say how much is the number of these people, 2, 2 and 3. Again, you will plainly note down their salary. Their salary is 44,000 each. Salary per person is 44,000 each. So you're going to copy paste this, and then you're going to find out the total. Total how? Multiply the salary of one person with the number of people that you have. So this is how you find out the total salary, but again you're going to have to take for incremental as well as the contribution that you do. So the contribution that you are doing is 13%, again 1 plus 13% multiplied by a further 1 plus 5% that you are increasing their salary. So this is what you end up paying to the senior sonographers. Now coming towards the next thing, which is other staff. So let's see about other staff. Let's put in the numbers first. So other staff, we have 8, 6 and 10. Let's read what information is given with respect to them. Other staff is 18,000 per annum. So salary per person is 18,000 per annum. Okay. Now we can find out the total. Total that we have is the product of per person salary multiplied by the people that we have. And incremental, again you're going to offer them also the increment. So you're going to multiply this with 1 plus 5%, again multiplied by 1 plus 13% that you contribute to the government. So here you're going to place it as copy paste. So here we have the staff salaries all worked out. We're all done till working note 2. So do let me know if you have any queries still here. I am waiting for your response. Do you have any queries still here? In the meantime, while I wait for your response, I am entering the expenses over here in the main performer from the working notes that we have created. So first is the junior sonographer costs. Junior sonographer has costed us this much in total. So let's see if we copy paste, do we get the right numbers? Yes, we do. Perfect. So we have our junior sonographer. Similarly, we can do for senior sonographer costs also. Senior sonographer, we have the cost over here all worked out here. So now again I can copy paste this. I am waiting for your doubts while I copy paste the data. Please let me know, guys. Then you have the other stuff with you. So the other stuff also we have worked it out. Other stuff is this number. So you can now bring it here. Okay, I have a doubt. Ashish asks, can we first calculate salary after pay and calculate the additional contribution after pay rise? Absolutely, you can do it. It's just another way of doing the same calculation. As long as you're putting in the numbers correctly, the sequence of your calculation does not really matter. Okay, so now we are done till these three costs. Then let's check about the note number 3. So note number 3 is with respect to the number of ultrasound machines. So you have 4, 3 and 5 machines respectively, and the leasing cost is also given to us. So let's find out the leasing cost. Leasing cost is, firstly take the number of machines. So the number of machines is 4 given to us. So 4 needs to be multiplied with, this is the information, it's 1,000 per month for Derby and Leak, and this is 4 months. So because we are producing it for the entire year, we are going to multiply this number by 12. So you will have it as 48,000. Similarly, this is again 1,000, which needs to be multiplied with the number of machines, which is 3, which is going to multiply by 12 to make it an annual number. Here also 5 multiplied by 12, and let's see how much is the leasing cost. It's given to be 1,500 per month, so this gives you 90,000. Ashish has asked another thing, that the tax rate of 30% is ignored. So if you see over here, the tax rate of 30% which is given to you for the employees, this is something which the employees will bear. This is not anything which is related to the employer. So this is something which is not relevant to us, and hence we are going to ignore this. Okay. Now we have done with respect to working note 3 also. Let's talk about the fourth note. So the fourth note is all about the overheads which are attributed. So again, what we are going to do is we are going to create a working note for this. So scroll down, go to this and create a working note 3 where you talk about the other costs. So now we are going to be talking about the other costs. It's given to us that the total employees that they are having, total employees that GSC has is 150. So here we are going to put 150. And how much is the total overhead expenditure? Total overhead expenditure is given to us as $3 million. So that is 3 million. Now, if I find out how much is the cost per employee, if 150 people are costing me $3 million, then one employee will be costing me 3 million divided by 150. So I create the cost per employee, and this is what I get. Now if we talk employee wise, how many employees do they have? So if you talk about, let's again copy paste the names of the clinics. So if we talk about the different clinics, the number of employees that are there in each of these clinics, they have 2 of junior sonographers, 2 of senior and 8 of other staff. So they have 12 people in total. They have 1 plus 2 plus 6, and then they not have 2 plus 3 plus 10. So this is the number of people that are working in the 3 clinics that we are speaking about. So with this we can calculate that what is going to be the HO cost per clinic per year. And how can we find out? We know that one employee for the entire year costs us 20,000, and this Derby clinic has 12. So that means for the whole year they are costing us this much. We will have to lock this specific cell wherein we are placing the cost per employee. So you can press the F4 key and this is going to be locked for you. It doesn't seem to be working over here on the platform. So what we can do is place dollar signs and now we can copy paste. So this is the cost that we are having. Now the total costs are also given to us. The total costs for the clinic, so these are per month cost, 56,000 is the other cost per month. So if we want to make it annual, this is what we are spending annually. And here for the other clinic, which is leak, 45,000 into 12 gives me the annual costs. And then 62,000 multiplied by 12 gives me again my annual cost. So here if total costs are this much and head office has claimed this much to me, then how much is my clinic specific? The difference is going to be something which is specific to the clinic. So clinic specific overhead costs are nothing but the difference of your total with the head office costs per clinic per year. So this is what is the specific cost. That means if we shut down the clinics, these costs, these clinic specific costs are definitely going to get saved. So we are now done with all of the calculations. We just have to put them in the calculation that we have done above, the performer that we have created above. So here we have our leasing cost all done, and then after we've put in the leasing cost, the next thing that we are going to put in is the clinic specific overheads. So clinic specific overheads. So why are we subtracting this before the contribution? We are doing this because these are specific to the overhead, these are specific to the clinic. If the clinic did not exist, these costs will be saved. So this is something which we are going to put in over here. Clinic specific overhead costs, as we have just calculated. You can again copy paste this, it will automatically put the numbers from down, and with this, once we subtract all of these things, we will now be able to arrive at the contribution. So the maybe we can create a sum of all of the expenses. So total expenses are going to be the sum of everything that we have put in over here. This is the sum of our expenses, and now we can find out the contribution. Contribution is nothing but the revenue minus your expenses. So this is what we end up getting. We can copy paste, and these are the numbers that we are getting. So we can see that as a contribution, the very first clinic, which is Derby, is giving us a negative answer. Now the next thing after contribution is what we subtract, known as the head office costs. So again, this is something which we have worked out. Head office costs are right over here. These are the head office costs. Again, you can copy paste. So this is the numbers that have been taken from our calculations that we did in our workings. Now we will simply calculate the profit and loss. This is what we had earlier. Then we had this much more of expenses. So that means the three clinics are giving this much of a profit or a loss every year. So how are we, with this we are done with the numerical calculation, and now we had to complete the statement, and this part of the requirement was also there, that we also have to recommend which clinic should be shut down at the end of 20x2. So now whenever you talk about which clinic should be shut down, you should see whether the clinic is contributing to the head office costs or not, since these costs will be incurred by the company irrespective of whichever clinic is there. See, this $3 million, it's noted over here also that this is expected to remain unchanged for the next few years even if one of the clinics is shut down. So that means even if you shut down the clinic, these head office costs, this is something that we are going to still incur. Just the distribution will change, this 3 million will still be incurred. So if you see, before this cost, both of the other clinics were profitable. The clinics named as Leak and Not, they were both profitable if you talk about the before the head office costs. So only the Derby clinic has a negative contribution. So because they make a negative contribution to the head office costs, only this clinic should be shut down. So you will put in a note looking something like this over here, that to decide whether a clinic should be shut down, it should be considered whether they make a positive contribution to the head office costs. Since Derby has a negative contribution to head office costs, this clinic should be shut down. As simple as that. So this is what you are going to write in your answer for the recommendation. If you leave your answer till here, you're going to lose at least a mark or two if you have not given this specific recommendation. So this was your part A of the question. Let me know if you people have any queries in this. Are we all good till here? All understood? Please ask if you people have any queries. I am accessing the chat box as it is. Okay, I do not see any doubts as of now, so I am going to head towards the next requirement, the next and the last requirement, where we are supposed to discuss any other additional factors which they should consider before deciding to shut down any of the 3 clinics. So whenever they talk to you about any other additional factors, see, the monetary aspect, we've already done our calculation in the previous part. So by other additional factors, it's clear that they do not want you to just look at the numbers. They want you to consider other things also, what will happen to other things, qualitative aspects, if you leave the numbers aside. So this is what you are going to have to discuss for these 6 marks. It's recommended that you give at least 6 points explained in a sentence or two, so that you are writing enough material to gain credit. So we will start off our answer by saying something that the Derby clinic is making a loss before the head office cost. So that means they are contributing negatively. They had a negative profit. You can quote that number also. Hence, it will appear that this clinic should be closed. So you will say, but this decision should also consider other factors like, and then you will start writing your answer. So the points that you can possibly discuss over here, firstly, this is something although money related but not being discussed in the previous calculation, is with respect to the penalty. So here we read about it, the information told us that these machines are on a lease, and if they exit a lease agreement before the end of its term, it's going to have to pay a substantial penalty. So do you think we'll be able to use the machine in any other clinics, or are we going to bear the penalty? So penalty for terminating the lease, and if possible we must try to use at other clinics, right? So this is the first point that you can talk about. Another point which could be discussed over here is with respect to whenever you shut down any business unit, the staff goes for a toss. You make the staff redundant. So here you're also going to consider the staff redundancy at Derby. This can also demotivate some other clinics employees. Some other clinic employees may lose morale or may be demotivated. So this is another point that you can talk about over here. One more thing that you can possibly state is that it may have a negative impact on the reputation, right? And then you can also talk about how general public is going to think that something is wrong with the business. so creates confusion in the minds of people. Another thing could be that you know, if some customer of Derby is there, they might attend some other clinic, because these clinics, as we read in right the beginning, that these clinics are within a 30-mile radius of each other. So that means these clinics are very close to each other. So maybe if you shut Derby down, the patients who used to visit Derby, they might start visiting other nearby clinics, right? So whoever lives possibly near your Leak clinic, they can go there. Whoever lives near to your Not clinic, they can start going there. Another possibility that you could write over here is about the own overhead costs. The own overhead costs of Derby, we are totally considering that they are entirely avoidable. We are considering that the own overhead costs of Derby are entirely avoidable. So we are thinking that whatever we've calculated as the specific cost of Derby, coming back to the number, so this is the specific cost of Derby. That means if we shut Derby down, we are going to save on this much money straight away. But this may not be the case. There may be a possibility that you are not able to avoid these costs, which may be possibly rental costs for the building which are not avoidable. Rental costs for the building which may not be avoidable. So this is also something that you will have to consider before you go ahead with the decision of shutting Derby down. So these were a few points which you could have written. If you write any other relevant points, they will still be given credit, provided that they should be relevant, right? You cannot be writing anything in thin air and expecting the examiner to award you marks for that. That's not going to happen. If you write some relevant points, then definitely you're going to get the marks. So this is where we get done with the global scan company question. Let me know if you people have any queries. Otherwise, I will call it a day, and you can always reach out to us via the comment section or via DMs on Instagram if you have any queries that you would like to get resolved. Thank you so much for watching. I'll just wait for a minute or two if you have any doubts. Otherwise, we will wrap for today. Okay. You're most welcome, Sheher. All right. So let's call it a day. I am going to solve the second question also. This is the next question that is available to you. This was only the question number 1 of your section C. We are going to solve this question, Get Go company question, the next time that we meet live. And like today, I announced this live over the WhatsApp community that we have. I'm going to do something similar, announce it on our Instagram page also, so that you people get to know that I'm going to have this live. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you the next time. All the very best for your exams.